It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we got a beer from your nearest beer shop, and this has got a very similar name to the brewery. So you Google nearest beer shop, and you come up with this in Bridgend. So you get 5% off when you order some beer, and you can use the voucher code, which is Stone the Crows, and it's free delivery over £60. They got some wonderful beers in this shop: craft beer, craft cider, spirits, mead. There's a beer subscription club and gluten and alcohol free beer. The beers in this shop are fantastic. Some of the beers they have are just like off the scale, like good. I was drinking beer in that shop last year that I didn't even know existed. It was that good. It was kind of new, great, exciting beers. Have a look at the nearest beer shop, or just nearest beer shop. The name of this brewery is also pretty fantastic, because if you Google like nearest beer shop, you get them. But if you Google pretty decent beer, now there's a big likelihood, if you want a decent beer, if you Google decent beer, you're going to come up with this brewery. And I think it's quite clever how they've named this brewery, a bit like how they've named the bottle shop. Two separate companies, one from London, one from Bridgend in Wales, but both with very clever names for their companies. This is called Golf Sale. This is a New England IPA. It's 5.8% ABV in a 440 milliliter can. There's a look at it. Beer is for everyone. Of course it is. Of course it is. I'll read all about it in a moment. I just want to get it out into a glass and see what we get. Whoa. A little bit of smoke on the can opening. I'd better get a glass. Beer in the glass. New England IPA. Hazy IPA. Well, let's review the beer first. It's a style I feel it's very popular, but I feel like it's hitting the precipice, it's hitting the cliff edge. It's like everyone's drunk it, everyone's enjoyed it. What's next? And that's been the question for a number of years now. What's next after New England IPA? And I feel like because of New England IPA's success, it's almost been the downfall of craft beer. It's been so successful. Nothing's been able to touch it for years. But of course, we have what's called in Barry the 2-year click. Say a restaurant opens in Barry. For 2 years, it's brilliant. It's the best thing since sliced bread. Everybody wants to go there. Bookings are off the scale. They're through the roof. After 2 years, the shine rubs off it a little bit. But I got another story on the shine. I want to talk about the beer first and foremost. I said I wanted to give it. I'm going to give it a fair. Always do give it a fair whack. But I've unfortunately hit this precipice with this style too, where I drink a lot of lager these days. I drink a lot of stouts. I drink a lot of the beers that I moved away from. Like I've got Old Peculiar in my perfect draft. I drink a lot of that these days. And I think it's just because there's so much New England IPA out there. But it's my first beer from pretty decent beer, and I want to give this a fair crack at the whip. So yeah, it looks like a New England IPA. Got a 2-finger white head, good levels of slow moving carbonation. White head. Let's get the aroma. It smells really good. Really good. And that's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. There's no denying it. There's no getting away from it. It's a damn good style of beer. Tropical, punchy, grapefruit, orange peel. It smells fantastic. And it tastes fantastic. So all of the things that I just mentioned previous to starting the beer review, previous to sipping the beer, are conflicting, aren't they? It's all so very conflicting. It's also, would the word be counterintuitive? Would that be a word that I could use in what I've just been doing for the last few minutes? In that, as much as I want to hate New England IPA, as much as I want to hate hazy IPA, when done properly, when done correctly, it's still fabulous. It's still fantastic. This is delicious. Absolutely delicious. ABV, what's the ABV? 5.8% ABV. It's so good. It's so good. I think there's been this cloud, and the cloud hanging over hazy IPA, New England IPA, was the fact that it went into the supermarket. Let's see if I've got one. Let's grab 3 beers that I picked up from Sainsbury's recently. Boom, boom, boom. Tropical IPA, Dancer, 2 Tribes. I know, before I've even opened it, it's going to be bang average. Salt, up until recently, had a fantastic reputation in the UK supermarket hazy IPA scene. I know that's going to be slightly above average. Colourway King, double IPA, Tiny Rebel. I've got no idea. I've got no idea, because Tiny Rebel can sometimes surprise you. They can make a really good beer. So sometimes it can be beyond drinkable. And it's almost like the dragging down of the quality of hazy IPA, New England IPA, from the beers that have made it to the supermarket, that has quite frankly made me really bored, really bored of the style. Because whenever I go to the supermarket, whenever I look at the beer aisles, it's like hazy IPA, New England. It's like, can we please have something else? And then it almost becomes unfair. It almost becomes unfair to the actual proper craft brewers who are working so hard to make a name for themselves and differentiate themselves from boring supermarket hazy IPA. But this has done it. This beer from Pretty Decent Beer Company in London has done it outstandingly well. This is a beer I could drink every day. And this is my point. When done correctly, it's still fantastic. It's still absolutely fantastic. So we got a one finger whitehead. It looks absolutely fantastic. Great lacing, great carbonation, chasing the head of the glass. This is up there with some of the best New England IPA I've ever tasted. And it's made me excited again for New England IPA. So it's almost like, forget about what I've said for the last 10 minutes. I'm still excited about New England IPA. But it has to be done correctly. It has to be done with a certain level of quality, and not bashed out in the supermarket like some of the breweries have chosen to do. Drinkable, refreshing, juicy, fabulous beer. What part of London are these lovely people from? London, wow, just London E17. New kids, that's not new. E17. Banner, you know that E17. Ah. You can butter the toast. No, I'll butter the toast if you lick the knife. Remember that from E17? I remember that. Yeah. Good times. Good times in the I was about 16, 17 back then, and I was discovering all sorts of new things in my life back then as a late teenager, which every young man does, and yeah, there was a lot of buttery knife licking going on. Anyway, rating 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom, cheers.